a clip of when violinist Rose Crelli played at the Warriors game, and she joins us now in studio. Rose, thank you so much for joining us here on Live in the Bay.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, very exciting. You are our first violinist here on the show.
Proud. I want a sticker.
Be. That's so awesome. And actually, we will get you a sticker right after the show, Live in the Bay. But first and foremost, I have to ask you, when did you first begin playing the violin?
I started when I was around 5. My older brother, Simon, he plays violin. So when I was little, I always heard him playing, and I wanted to be just like him. So I started like when I was around 5.
Wow, okay, so you've been playing for a really long time now.
Yeah, around 20-something years.
Wow, that's incredible. That is a very long time to play an instrument, and as we just saw there, you are a master at it. And for you, what is the biggest difference between, and for some of our viewers who may not know, between a standard violin and an electric violin, because you brought both and you play both?
Yes. All right, so the wood one is the acoustic one. That's the one I started playing when I was little.
You can pick it up.
Yes, show it off a little bit. Here it is, front and back. And yeah, so they don't make electric violins in smaller sizes. So acoustic wood ones, they go all the way down to like 1/8 or 1/16 size for like 4-year-olds, you know?
Yeah.
So this is the one that most people get started on. And then over here we have my electric one. And as you can see, it looks very different. You could not tell that this was actually like a violin. Most people are like, what is this?
When I saw it, I was like, what is that? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, it looks like some space age alien thing from outer space. But it's my electric one. This is great for playing in outdoor environments where I don't want to expose my wood one to like the elements like rain or cold. And it also has volume. So it's really nice to be able to control how loud or quiet I'm sounding.
Okay, so two very different instruments, even though they're pretty much the same instrument, you use them for different events. And
yes, yeah, I tend to use my electric one when I'm doing more of my hip-hop, pop, modern covers, and then my traditional wood one for more classical and like traditional stuff.
And Rose, you said you've been playing the violin for over 20 years now. So for you, how have you seen yourself grow with the instrument over the past 20 years?
That's a great question. So when I started, I played all the way through high school, and then when I came to decide what to do for college, I never considered doing anything else besides music. So I went to music for college, and I thought like maybe I'd play in orchestras and like teach and stuff, but when I started realizing how much fun I have improvising and like learning by ear and, you know, learning covers of, you know, popular songs by ear, and how much people love hearing songs they recognize. And like, there's just the joy it brings people when they recognize what I'm playing, because they're like, oh, I hear this on the radio, or like, that's my favorite song, I sing it all the time. Like, it's just really rewarding to have an immediate connection and facilitate that with the people who are listening to me. And yeah, it's just, I really love playing more like electric and modern stuff at this point.
And you mentioned that connection with the crowd who listens to your music. We saw a clip right here at the beginning of the interview of you playing at the Warriors game. Tell me about that experience.
Was incredible. I felt like that was a fever dream, honestly. I put performing for the Warriors on my bucket list of goals for this year. And then just a couple weeks ago, I got an email from them inviting me to perform, and I couldn't believe it was real. I screamed.
So you crossed it off your bucket list.
It's amazing, because I crossed it off like the last month of 2022.
Not a lot of people are able to do that. So you made a bucket list and you crossed it off. That's so amazing. Well, congratulations on that and your performance, which I'm sure was just incredible. And for you, what other types of performances have you done in the past, and what maybe sticks out to you?
I do a lot of performances for weddings, and I love being a part of someone's special day. Like, a wedding is something that you will remember for the rest of your life. It's like one of the standalone moments, I think, for most people, and it's just such an honor to have people trust me with that, because I play for the ceremony, you know, when their bridal entrance and the bridal exit music, which is the most like pivotal moment of the day. So just to have brides be like, specifically be like, you're the first vendor I booked because I absolutely loved your music. I've had several brides tell me that, and it's so special because there's tons of vendors, you know, photographers, venues, all that stuff. And for them to say that I'm the very first one that they wanted and they knew immediately that they wanted me for their wedding, is just, it makes me so happy.
Yeah, and I can imagine that connection, like you said, with individuals and crowds when they hear your music, because the violin is, especially to me, I think it's such a beautiful instrument, and it's a tough instrument, correct? How hard was it for you to learn it growing up?
So hard. I almost quit. I actually did quit for like a year, and then my mom was like, you know, I think you're too young for this. So I started when I was 5. I think I threw too many temper tantrums because I didn't want to practice. And then she started me again when I was 6, and for some reason that was like the magical age.
You're like, you just picked it right back up at 6. Well, you didn't just perform for the Warriors. You've also performed in orchestras, symphonies. Can you tell me a little bit more about some other performances you've done?
So there's a couple orchestras in the area. I've played with Sacramento Philharmonic, California Symphony, a few others I can't think of off the top of my head, but there's so many great orchestras in the Bay Area. I highly encourage everyone to support your local symphony. Shout out to the symphonies in the area. And then also I've played, you know, with a couple artists like Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Michael Bublé. I'm playing with the band Tony Tone in Oakland this week. And I do quartet stuff as well. What else? Yeah, I just do lots of weddings, special events, engagements, proposals. Those are so fun.
Oh my goodness.
I had a fun one where they had me go out to Muir Woods, and he was like, he told me his car and what he looked like, and he was like, but don't let my fiance know that like you're following us. So I kind of like had to hide behind them and like follow them into the woods and then wait for his secret sign to start playing.
Oh my gosh, wow, that's an adventure.
I know, I felt like I was doubling as like a private eye and like a sleuth and detective and violinist.
Well, for you, Rose, as a musician, what is the biggest difference between a solo performance at the Warriors game and then performing at an orchestra or a wedding? What's the biggest difference?
For me, it's mostly just like the amount of energy and I bring, because, you know, when you're in orchestra, the goal is to blend in and not stick out, you know? So in there, I'm trying to like blend in with all the musicians around me and fit in, versus when you're a soloist, your goal is to stand out and like, you know, have people notice you. So just like body language, how you're playing, even the outfits you wear. Like when I play my solo stuff, I'm wearing like gowns and like, you know, colorful things, sparkly stuff. When I'm in orchestra, I'm, you know, concert black, gotta have it all the way down to your wrists and like your ankles.
Yeah, so very different.
Yeah.
And for you, when you play, what do you hope people feel or experience from seeing your performance?
That's a great question. I love making eye contact with people when I'm performing. I did a solo show at Dahlia Lounge in the Mission, and some of the compliments I received afterwards were like, people were like, I just loved how you made eye contact with me, and like I felt like we connected while you were playing. So that's just something I really love doing. I like making people feel seen. I like making people feel happy and like experience all the emotions through my music. It's kind of like a little, I don't know, I just love being able to cheer people up with my music. That's the biggest thing.
And I know for a fact that you do that so often. So thank you so much, Rose, for joining us here on Live in the Band. We're looking forward to more of your performances.
Thank you so much.
Of course.